I want to talk a bit about how to run the 400 meters. Everyone knows it's four segments of 100 meters, which makes 400. And everyone knows the last 100 meters is a killer. And everyone knows about the five P's of success, which is proper preparation prevents poor performance. And you have to prepare to run the 400. And lastly, everyone knows about the four P's race strategy, which is push, pace, position, and pray. Hi, I'm Jim Sinley for speedendurance.com, and welcome to Speed Endurance TV. Now, if you're on Twitter like I am, there was a lot of talk about the first 7 seconds of the 400 is free energy. You go all out because that energy system can never be reclaimed back. So you must go out hard. And I think if you follow my blog enough, you know that my race calculation is take your 200-meter time, you double it, and you add 3.5 to 4 seconds, depending on your training background. So if you are a 200-meter PB runner in 22 seconds, then your split should be 23 and 25, which is the first 100 meters or first 200 about 1 second slower than your PR. And then you add 2 seconds for the next segment. Now, if you remember the Butch Reynolds world record of 43.29, he had a rabbit in front of him, a guy named Innocent Egbunaike, and this was back in 1988, and he went out in 20.2 for his first 200. Now, obviously, Innocent died in that race, figuratively, but the thing is, you really have to think about breaking down that race into different energy distribution. And that's why I think it's not really 4 times 100, but it's really 8 times 50. It's really 8 different zones in that race. And for me, knowing about the first 7 seconds of free energy, the most critical part of the race is between 50 and 200. That 150-meter segment is the race where you have to be really fast, but really efficient. You can have 2 guys with the same time, but it's the person who can save energy in that critical 150-meter zone is the guy that will win the race. Now, I've heard some of you talk about running negative splits. I've only seen that happen only once in my modern day era, and that's Rennie Kuo of Trinidad. Otherwise, a 400-meter race is a very fast acceleration to near max speed, and then sadly, it's one long, slow deceleration to the finish. There's plenty and plenty of race splits and stats to prove that point. Now, given an example, I'll give a recent race that we had here in Holland, and that's Hengelo back in June. And you can see from the race results, the person who came last, Boers, 47.19, still not a bad time. But if you look at his splits, his first 50 was the fastest, 6.06. That's pretty good for quarter miler. And then he is in the lead for the first 250, where he splits 27.08 over here. Now, by 300 is when he starts slowing down a bit, and he's tied for 4th place because Norwood and Nenny are sub 33. You have Bonavecchia at 33.02. And then finally, 33.15 is tied between McCullough and Boers. And then from 300, 350, and 400 is where the wheels come off and he starts slowing down tremendously. So this is how not to race, but I do commend him because only by trial and error is when you'll know your perfect race, and you'll never get it right the first time. You may, but I think it takes about 3 to 5 races of a good 400-meter races to find your groove, find your zones, and eventually you hit your PR for the season. And that is it for how to run a 400 meters. Please comment below if you have any other ideas, and let me know what works for you and what didn't work for you.